Welcome to Systemize Leads. Systemize is built around something we call a process to group information at a high level like jobs. Processes are also customizable. By default, every database has an inactive process called leads that can help track potential customers and conversion rates separate from job information. Let's make this process active. We'll start in Settings. Select Job, then Processes. Lead is grayed out because it's not active. Click on the underline name, uncheck Inactive, then Save. Processes like jobs and leads hold activities and forms for collecting information. First, we'll look at what activity types are already in our lead process, and then we'll add one for tracking conversions. Go to Settings, Job, Activity Types to add existing activity types to the process. Next to Process, click on Lead so we can see only the lead activity types for now. By default, there are a few activity types built in: phone, email, and quote. The quote activity type is only a reminder that the activity needs to happen. It's not a way to create a quote. We'll talk more about this in a moment when we visit templates. Let's add one new activity type. Click on the Create New Activity Type button, enter Lead Created, and enter a description if needed. The new activity type will appear at the bottom of the list. Click on the underlined name and set the status to Complete. This activity type is a way to track when the potential customer is entered into the system, so it does not need a status that requires further action. You can assign a color, a duration, and a person if it needs to automatically be assigned to one. Most users leave these fields blank. If you need to add any other new activities, repeat these steps. Activity types can apply to multiple processes, like phone call or email. If there are activity types that already exist for jobs that you also need in leads, click on Assign Activities, then check any that also need to apply to leads. I mentioned tracking conversions of leads to job. To do that, we need to add a job activity type. At the top, next to Process, click on Job. Click Create New Activity Type, then name this job sold. Also set the status to Complete. Using these two activity types, the lead can be converted to a job, retaining all previous notes and communications, and the job sold activity will indicate when the job begins. In other words, when the lead converts to a job. Now, click on All next to Process. You'll see the new activity types listed at the bottom. It's optional to reorder them. To do so, click on any sequence number, then click, hold, and reorder the activity types in a way that makes sense for your business. Time to take a look at forms. Go to Settings, Job, Job Forms. To add existing forms, click on the Leads tab at the top, then Assign to add existing forms to the process. I want to create a new form that captures some basic lead information. Click on the Create Lead form and give the form a name, like Standard Lead. I want to keep this simple and just capture basic information. I'll click anywhere inside the lower gray rectangle to add some fields. Select Lead Info as the data type, then use the Multiple button to select several fields to add at once. This form can always be edited later. Visit the Systemize knowledge base for more on creating forms and for sample forms commonly used. The last step related to leads is making sure the lead template includes all necessary activities and forms. Every time you create a job, you use a template that automatically pulls in activities and forms. The same is done with leads. Go to Settings, Job, Templates, and click on the Lead tab at the top. Click on Standard Lead, then add in any additional activities or forms. When adding existing activities to leads, Yes must appear in the Leads column. If it says No, go back to the Activity Types and make sure it's been added to the lead process. Let's talk about the quote activity type. Though quote is in your database by default, it is not in the standard lead template by default to avoid confusion for users who have both Systemize and CounterGo. The quote activity type is only a reminder that the activity needs to happen. It's not a way to create a quote. If you don't use Moraware CounterGo, you may want to add quote to the lead template. One last step if you want to track conversions. We created a job activity called Job Sold. Now it needs to be added to the job template. At the top, click Job. Open each job template you use, click the multiple button, then add in Job Sold. This will add the Job Sold activity to every job created going forward, but it will not add it to jobs already created. Time for a test run. From the left navigation, click Leads, then create a new lead. I'll add test information, and now I'll convert this test lead to a job. Click the Edit Lead Info icon, and then click the icon to turn this lead into a job. Select a job template, save, and note that the lead has turned into a job. Take a look at the job activities, Job Sold. It's completed with today's date, indicating that it converted from lead to a job today. Using the leads and the two new activity types, reports can be run on how many leads are converted into jobs for various durations. If you have questions, or for more on reports, check out the Systemize knowledge base, or get in touch with one of our friendly Systemize experts at support@moraware.com.